Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, when he led the sheep to the far side of the wilderness. There, on Mount Horeb, he noticed something extraordinary. A bush was on fire, yet it was not consumed by the flames. Intrigued and curious, Moses approached the bush to investigate this strange sight. As he drew near, God called out to him from the bush, saying, "Moses, Moses." Moses replied, "Here I am." God told Moses not to come any closer and to remove his sandals because the place where he stood was holy ground. Then God revealed his plan. He had seen the suffering of the Israelites in Egypt and had heard their cries, and he intended to deliver them from bondage. God chose Moses to go to Pharaoh and bring his people out of Egypt. Moses was overwhelmed and questioned God, asking, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?" God assured him, "I will be with you," and gave him signs to confirm his power. Moses still expressed doubt, worried that the Israelites would not believe him or listen to his words. In response, God revealed his name, "I am who I am." This is what you are to say to the Israelites, "I am has sent me to you." God promised that he would guide Moses, give him the words to speak, and perform mighty wonders through him, so that the people would know that he, the Lord, had sent him. Moses listened and, though still hesitant, accepted God's calling. The burning bush had been a divine encounter, a moment when God's presence was made visible, and his mission for Moses and the liberation of Israel began to unfold. Moses was tending the flock of his father-in-law Jethro in the remote wilderness, leading the sheep to the far side of Mount Horeb, when something completely unexpected happened. A bush was on fire, yet it wasn't burning up. Imagine that, flames dancing wildly but the bush remaining untouched. Curiosity drew him closer, and then, in the middle of that miraculous scene, he heard a voice calling his name. "Moses! Moses!" Heart racing, he answered, "Here I am," not knowing his life was about to change forever. God told him to remove his sandals, declaring, "This is holy ground." Right there, in the shadow of ordinary rocks and desert sand, the extraordinary revealed itself. God explained that he had seen the suffering of his people in Egypt, heard their cries, and now had a plan to rescue them. And the shocker? He wanted Moses, the very man hiding in a quiet desert, uncertain of his own worth, to lead the greatest liberation the world had ever seen. Moses panicked. "Who am I to face Pharaoh? Who am I to save Israel?" he asked. But God's answer was electrifying. "I will be with you." Then came a revelation that would echo through history. God revealed his sacred name, saying, "I am who I am. Tell them I am has sent me." This was no ordinary mission. This was a direct call from the Creator, a promise that he would empower Moses to speak and act with divine authority. Even when Moses doubted, worried that the people wouldn't believe him, God gave him miraculous signs to prove his power. The burning bush wasn't just a strange natural phenomenon. It was the first spark of an epic story of freedom, faith, and destiny. From that moment, Moses' life was never ordinary again. He was chosen, anointed, and sent on a mission that would change the course of history forever. This was the moment when God's voice broke through the ordinary, turning fear into purpose and doubt into destiny. A story that still inspires courage and faith today. Moses, while tending his father-in-law's flock on Mount Horeb, encountered a miraculous burning bush that was not consumed by fire. God called him from the bush, revealing his holy presence and a divine mission to lead the Israelites out of slavery in Egypt. Despite Moses' doubts and fears, God assured him of his presence, revealed his sacred name, "I am who I am," and promised to empower him with signs to convince the people. This encounter marked the beginning of Moses' transformation, from a hesitant shepherd into the chosen leader of Israel, demonstrating how God calls ordinary people to accomplish extraordinary purposes. The story of Moses and the burning bush reminds us that God can reveal his power and purpose in the most unexpected ways. Even in moments of doubt or fear, he calls ordinary people to extraordinary missions, equips them with what they need, and promises his presence every step of the way. It teaches that true courage comes not from our own strength, but from trusting God's plan and stepping forward when he calls, knowing that he is always with us.